My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system, which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California.
All right, it is still Thursday, April 10th, 2025. It's currently 7:14 p.m. This is documentation of the ongoing pattern of conduct that I remain subject to. And as I have shown literally through the pattern of conduct that the entity is engaging in, and the fact that it is demonic, it is also the practice of witchcraft. It is exposing what is the creation of illusions that surround all of us, as you are aware of and cannot deny the reality of the spiritual realm. The component to gang stalking is the psychological warfare. That is, the same demons that are gang stalking are also engaging in spiritually attacking. And this is the defeated, albeit obsessive, endeavor of the demons, including Tracy Banks. And so, for example, this demon, this is Tracy Banks, is literally a mentally imbalanced person who is demon possessed, and she is gang stalking. And this is the same condition of the entity that's engaging in the same pattern of conduct. But I want to be clear, as I'm speaking of Tracy Banks in particular, this is nothing other than the entity. And this is a person within that entity whose name I know, who has a relationship insofar as I identify this person as being someone that's in my family. But this is, again, somebody that's fully engaged in targeting me, and which is entirely demented. Not only in the way in which you're gang stalking, but the fact that you're doing it in the first place and exploiting a personal relationship with the target individual, myself, and doing so, and doing it in reliance on that relationship. And the entity that is engaging in this pattern of conduct is fully engaged in what is practicing witchcraft. And so this is the entity that is incapable of actually controlling me, incapable of actually controlling the decisions that I am aware of and cognizant of, and will continuously maintain full and voluntary exercise of. The entity Satan himself cannot possess my vessel like the demon possessed are. They are gang stalking, and they are doing so in service of Satan, and it's a prosecution for criminal conduct. But Satan can't possess my vessel. Satan also cannot control my mind. Satan can't change my mind. Neither can any of his imps, and that includes Tracy Banks, who you heard on April 7th literally having a meltdown when this demon, who does not sleep, and stated that she was trying to sleep and that I was being loud, while she is obsessively stalking and monitoring my every physical movement, monitoring my genitalia in the bathroom, in whatever bathroom, because I'm documenting how she's gang stalking me while she is inside of her own apartment. She's gang stalking me wherever it is that I go. It's an entity wide pattern of conduct, and she remains a part of the entity that is obsessed with me. Was gang stalking me in Los Angeles with the LAPD, gang stalking me while obsessively engaged in what is masturbating and engaging in sexual activity, while she would obsessively watch me nude on camera that she placed inside of my home, unbeknownst to me. This is in every regard someone who had a meltdown that I documented on podcast, while under the guise of the unpersuasive guise, because she's saying it in engineered light. She's saying it at the apartment where the fake sun rises and sets. She's saying it at the apartment where the police are gang stalking, the fire department, the sheriff's department, the population is gang stalking. And this demon unintelligently exposes herself again when Satan opens his mouth, and doing so via Tracy Banks, having a meltdown, which is documented conduct. It's the pattern of conduct where harassment was documented, and criminal defamation and threats of criminal summoning was documented on the night of April 7th. because the demon is fearful of the fact that I'm speaking to the what she is jealous of. This psychopath is actually jealous of the fact that I am, quote unquote, in the demon's mind, important enough to be gang stalked. Only psychopaths deem it to be something to be envious of, but this is why they're gang stalking in the first place. This is why they are obsessed, because Satan is consumed with the one whom he cannot have. Satan cannot have me. So under all accounts, I've spoken to and I've documented for purposes of prosecution, but I've also given context. This is demonic activity. This is the work of Satan, and it is spiritual conduct that is dark. All right. And the demon possessed, that includes Tracy Banks, literally had a meltdown. This demon never takes a nap. She does not sleep. She is still monitoring when she claims to be going to work every day. She is spiritually stalking and monitoring in the spirit. She is obsessed with me, sexually obsessed with me, and is also actually obsessed with any and everything that I do and how I do it. While this demon has, for the entirety of my life, has been deceived by Satan, tormented by demons who have convinced her to not only target me, but convinced her that she could be me, that she could replace me. This person is over 60 years old and doesn't even look like me, okay? And no one over 60 looks like anybody that is, she's substantially older than me, and she is under no circumstances anybody that even behaves like me, doesn't even have the intellectual capacity, has no such training, has not even any sort of appetite or desire to be intellectual, or to be, or something, conduct herself as in anything other than like a ghetto low-life person. This is who Tracy Banks is. She is a thug. She is a hustler. She's a liar. She's a fraud. All right. This is not name calling. This is just speaking to, again, how Satan has deceived this person. And this person had a meltdown the other night. And this fraud, by gang stalking, this fraud engaged in what is harassment, claiming that I'm interrupting her sleep. When she doesn't sleep, she's gang stalking me, monitoring me in the spirit and in relevant position, gang stalking on a 24-hour basis. Very psychotic, what you heard on this podcast. Okay, this is somebody that is obsessed with me and has sought out to be sexually engaged with any and every person that she thought that I was interested in or would be interested in me. And how does she know this? How does she gain this information? Because she's been stalking me my entire life. Okay, so this is how you have sexual activity, a marriage, cult activity, cult membership with Jason Isaac Fields, somebody that she has had tremendous and extensive sexual relations with and an extensive relationship with, again, unbeknownst to me. And while they were together and still are gang stalking me and also still spiritually attacking me together. So this is, again, demons who are deceived. The entity is incapable of secretly targeting me. The entity is incapable of trying to secretly target in order to murder me. The entity is incapable of engaging in any harm that it would ever happen, which is not going to happen. But the entity has lost insofar as the entity that is targeting me is now exposed as the one that's responsible for any and everything that has happened in all of my life circumstances while the government has been targeting me at work and where I live through the very people of the state, including the demons who are related to me. And by the way, relevant context is that they're all in this witch coven together, this sex cult, and they've all had sex with each other. People that I've never introduced, like Shanita Ramai McLean having sex with Jason Isaac Fields. These are two people that I never introduced to each other. They're gang stalking. This is how their sexual activity, this sex cult, this witchcraft practice, which is demonic activity, and they're all gang stalking together. This is how their sexual activity becomes relevant, while you have what are strangers, ostensibly strangers, that are somehow related, entangled with each other in ways that are unbeknownst to me, the one who is being targeted by all of them together. Okay, it does become relevant, the fact that Shanita Ramai McLean is a duplicitous, backstabbing whore who's had sex with a male friend, again, obviously not a real friend, because he's a duplicitous, backstabbing whore as well, having sex with my mother, having sex with fake friends of mine, and having sex with, the Lord knows who else that I formerly associated with. I don't associate with any of these nymphomaniacs who are demon possessed and are still gang stalking me and spiritually attacking me. They are listening to the spirit of Satan, these demons that are tormenting them, and they do not get sleep. And so since, again, I cannot be demon possessed, since the entity cannot secretly target me in the way that I've surrounded them with evidence regarding the criminal conduct that they are still to date engaging in, the entity is the demons are resorting to nothing other than harassment. Nothing nothing other than withholding justice that I'm fully entitled to, that the government has no hand in providing. And merely withholding it is nothing other than exposing that same corrupt government to prosecution, which I will be enforcing my rights for. All right. So the entity is engaging what is spiritually attacking. Tracy Banks does not sleep. She is obsessively stalking in the spirit. She practices witchcraft. So does her demon-possessed husband, Jason Isaac Fields, who is also subject to demon possession, tormented by demonic spirits who have him deceived, thinking that I would ever, even as I clearly use English words that are clearly understood, still listening to demonic spirits, where this person is gang stalking me and spiritually attacking me, harassing me, as though that's going to result in some sort of voluntary, loving relationship with me. It will never happen. This is somebody that is mentally ill. That is how human beings who are demon possessed are affected in the natural. They do behave in manners that are entirely demented. This obsession is irrational on the part of Jason Isaac Fields. This obsession is irrational on the part of Tracy Banks. The gang stalking by the entity is entirely unsuccessful and defeated and irrational. Even while strangers who don't know you are gang stalking you, that's the irrational behavior of those who are mentally ill. The entity is engaging in what is ongoing harassment, spiritually attacking, and then engaging in what is the documented meltdown by this demon, Tracy Banks, who is in fact never sleeping. She is obsessively relying on unsuccessful witchcraft tactics while she is spiritually attacking in ways that are never going to work, while she is gang stalking, and that whole entire criminal endeavor is fully exposed. It's not delaying the fact, it's not changing the fact that she is going to a mental asylum for the rest of her life. That's where she's going to expire. And all the witchcraft tactics that are not effective on me are going to ricochet right back onto her and everyone else that's sharing in this witchcraft practices, which is the state of California, the demon possessed. Okay, death spells, the love spells, they work on each other. This is how you have the nymphomaniacs engaging in sex rituals with each other. They practice witchcraft upon, and that works on them. It doesn't work on a child of God. Jason Isaac Fields, who was demon possessed, relying on hoping in demonic tactics that are never going to work. Love spells do not work on me. Death spells do not work on me. Harassing me in the spirit is not going to change my mind. I will never be one that is an imp like them, demon possessed, and so in order that you can control my mind and control my decision making. I remain someone who is documenting the state, that remains engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring. That entity that's gang stalking me still, in other words, is still spiritually attacking in equally unsuccessful ways. And the entity is obsessively consumed with me. And these are the mentally ill who will never have any voluntary entrance in my life. And so I want to make sure that that is also clear. The entity that is merely harassing me in the spirit and harassing me in relevant position, gang stalking, is the one that would be guilty of nothing other than kidnapping and rape. For example, Jason Isaac Fields. There will never be any voluntary relationship with the psychopath. This is somebody that is spiritually obsessed with monitoring me, somebody that is gang stalking me in relevant position, and would be committing nothing other than kidnapping and rape, because there will never be any voluntary relationship with this person. There will never be any voluntary sexual or romantic relationship with this person that has had oral sex with my mother, that has engaged in marriage with my mother, that has engaged in sexual activity with my mother. This is somebody that is delusional while listening to the demons that are tormenting him while he can't sleep and is interrupting my sleep in the middle of the night while he's monitoring me. These demons are entirely defeated, and all they have resorted to now is merely withholding justice, which will entitle me to recovery. I'm going to prosecute the government for that. And not only that, the entity is engaging what is ongoing demonic acts, monitoring me in the spirit in ways that will never be successful. None of the spell work, none of the voodoo, none of the sex rituals, no voodoo doll, none of that. Hoodoo voodoo is going to work on me. It's not changing my mind. It's not going to affect my decision making. I remain someone that will exercise my rights, as I am fully aware of them, under the Constitution, and the rights that I have in Christ Jesus, who is not forcing me to have any relationship at any level, professional or romantic or otherwise, with anyone that I have documented, with anybody that is demon possessed, with anybody that has ever tried to kill me, with anybody that has conspired against me, with anyone that is still listening to demons telling them that I want them, when I'm clearly stating with English words that everyone can understand that I do not and I will not. It would be nothing other than kidnapping and rape. The delusional demons continue to pose an unlawful threat. The entity is gang stalking. The entity is also harassing. And when you hear psychopaths like Tracy Banks have a meltdown while acts of desperation, such as harassment and criminal acts of threats and intimidation, which is, again, legally analyzing it. I'm not actually intimidated by a demon who was stalking me, a demon who wishes they had the spiritual authority that I have in Christ. It's God-given. Demons who are spiritually inferior to me and actually inferior while you're stalking me. You're not scary to me. You don't have any actual authority under the law, nor do you have any rights, nor will you actually control my decision making here on earth, nor in the spirit. The demons are merely engaging in what is harassment because they're hostile, because they cannot overcome what is the blood of Christ that covers me, period. These are sore losers. And I want to make sure that that is public information, because it is a basis for prosecuting the government that is engaging in the satanic targeting system of federal group stalking and monitoring. The entity that is a sore loser is, again, engaging in what is psychological warfare, doing so as an obsessed entity that is still gang stalking, and it is an entirely defeated effort. When you have exposed at any level the government that seeks to secretly target you, that's the purpose of gang stalking, because they're trying to create what is an illusion whereby you're making up the fact that you're being targeted in the first place. And so you're never supposed to be able to prove it. And that's the whole purpose of gang stalking. The entity has lost that. The evidence has long proven that not only is it not a figment of my imagination, it is a phenomenon with regard to what anyone could witness in the environment while you are in fact being targeted. And I have provided a whole nomenclature and a whole policy whereby you can prosecute it. That's also not existing solely in the imagination of someone who is entirely capable of being targeted, where the entity is engaging in what is surveillance throughout the United States. The entity has utterly lost, has been utterly defeated. And this is actually spiritual warfare. But the entity has been so thoroughly judged, they're being prosecuted in the natural. You're not being prosecuted for things that are existing in the imagination of somebody that's not actually being gang stalked. Okay, so the entity has lost that, and they lost it a long time ago. The entity that is corrupt, that's engaged in public corruption, has merely withheld justice, which is speaking to an unlawful threat that the government will compensate for, that the government will be liable for. Okay, not only that, these are demons who in the spirit are fully defeated and are merely resorting to just Tracy Banks, for example, is addicted to practicing witchcraft. She's addicted to engaging in spiritual attacks that are not effective. She's addicted. She's addicted to it. This is, again, bondage. She is tormented by demonic spirits that are lying to her while she is rapidly, her mind state is rapidly dissolving. She is losing it in real time. And what you heard on April 7, 2025 is a real life example of it. But you're witnessing it while the entity is gang stalking on an ongoing basis. It is happening in plain view what the entity is doing of a criminal nature and what is also of a demonic nature. The entity has been entirely defeated. That is never the purpose or the desire of the entity that is gang stalking. So the entity is engaging in nothing other than behaving like sore losers. And this pettiness is tremendously criminal with regard to government conduct. And with regard to the prosecution of the entity, yes, here on earth, but also a judgment that demons are going to, the demon possessed, the entity, people like Jason Isaac Fields, that have no future prospect with me under any circumstances. He's not going to kidnap me. He will not be raping me. I'm just speaking, that's what it would require for there to ever be any sort of relationship. And that's not a relationship, obviously. Those are criminal acts of violence. That does not make a relationship. Okay, only someone who is being deceived by demons that are still controlling that person is engaging in the behavior that Jason Isaac Fields is. This person is gang stalking and is still spiritually attacking, and is doing so in concert with Tracy Banks, and has told him, is deceived, thinking that he is distinct from demons like Tracy Banks, and he is not. He's not. He is targeting the same. He's harassing the same. He's gang stalking the same. He's withholding justice for delusional purposes. Delusional. This person has no, Tracy Banks is not going to escape the mental asylum that she was going to be locked in for the rest of her life. Jason Isaac Fields has no future prospects with me ever. And that was the case years ago when I discarded him from my life on June 2nd, 2018. When at that point in time, he thought that it was entertaining to target me. He thought that it was fun. He thought that he was going to benefit. He has learned otherwise and is now behaving like a delusional psychopath who is still obsessively gang stalking me and is engaging in what is thinking that they're having. This is somebody that thinks that they're controlling the circumstances in my life, thinks that they're controlling the outcome. This person is delusional. They're listening to demons. Judgment is coming, judgment is inevitable, and judgment is also going to occur with regard to a prosecution, a comprehensive prosecution. And all the ways in which the government, as I am describing demonic activity and gang stalking that I remain subject to, the government shall be liable for it. It's all state action. All right, it is. I want to make sure that that is clear. The entity is engaging in this, and this is relevant to the ways in which the entity is not controlling. The entity does not, and that includes people like delusional people who are listening to the tormenting spirits that keep him up at night while he's harassing me while I sleep sound like a baby. And these demons are harassing me because they can't sleep because these demons torment them. The demons that they're listening to that make them think that using their witchcraft is going to be successful tomorrow, even though it hasn't been successful at all. They've been deceived. The demons that are telling them that withholding justice is going to change my mind and that engaging what is harming and abusing me and gang stalking me is going to cause me to change my mind, and I will acquiesce and I will succumb to their demands with regard to voluntarily being involved with them. That's never going to happen either. It would be kidnapping and rape, period. And that's not going to happen either. It is 7:34 p.m. on April 10, 2025, and this is the P.O.C.